Welcome back to Etheria Restart. Today I'm here with Hermes and we're taking a look at the brand new SSR Light Animus inside of the game, Yelli. I want to take you guys through her kit, let you know what she does and if she's actually worth you trying to summon for the limited time, because as you can see right now, she's only available right now on this limited banner for the next 11 days. Hermes, welcome back to the channel, man. I hope you're doing well. Let's dive into Yelli here and see what we plan on doing with her ourselves and what others need to know.
Yeah, I'm excited. Some of the mechanics that she has is obviously very unique to Etheria Restart, but
hmm
it shows up in other games and is really fun, very RNG based, but can be a very fun mechanic when it plays the way you want it to.
Yeah, we were talking about this a little bit ahead of time, and the one-shot potential here is what really makes Yelli a lot of fun and really brings the excitement, but it's only a chance. There's no guarantee of that one-shot. So why don't we go through a little bit of her kit, then I could show a little bit of what's going on with her. We could see her in action a little bit from the trailer and then sum up the video.
Yeah. So I think the biggest thing at her kit, at the core of her kit, is going to be that A1, that Arrow Spark ability. Um, she's able to deal 240% damage when fully maxed to a single enemy with a 30% chance to steal a buff. And that chance to steal a buff is not very high. And so I don't think, at least for me, I don't think she's really worth building to strip buffs
hmm
off of your enemies. I think that she can, if she does strip, that's awesome, but it's not worth going after that buff strip ability in this situation like this because she can do and has so much potential to do so much damage.
All right, that makes a lot of sense. By the way, I noticed that people are probably realizing there's a QR code right next to me right here. That's because this video was sponsored by Etheria Restart. And if you download the game with this QR code or my link in the description, you get yourself 10 free summons and into the game absolutely for free. Also, guys, let me know if Yelli is an Animus that you're interested on adding to your team. Sorry, Hermes, let's keep on going since you broke down the A1.
Oh, all good. I think then the next thing, we'll save the best for last. So let's get into that A2, or it's the skill 3 ability, which is that Nightfire. That AoE ability where she does 3 hits. Well, first she adds a crit rate up onto herself, which is
hmm
really big. Like when you have a self-buffing um Animus, it's really awesome because then you have one less thing you have to bring. Instead of having to build more crit rate stats, you can build more crit damage, more attack, and even maybe even a little bit of sustain and survive if you need it. But then she does 3 hits of damage to all the enemies and has a chance to put down defense, put defense down. This is another ability where she can benefit from having effect accuracy, but it's not something that I think is worth building. I think you should have a dedicated debuffer, whether that's your Gray or Kloss or Dinah, whoever it is.
hmm
Any of those I think are good to have bring that debuff in. And if she lands it, that's awesome. But then you're not relying on her to land the debuff to improve your damage.
All right, that makes a lot of sense. So then the passive is what you're pretty excited about with her?
Oh yeah, that passive. And it's an interesting passive, but it also the thing with Yeli, we need to understand, is you really do need to max at least her A1 and her A and that passive ability
hmm
skills. You need to put all the skill ups. That'll be take a minimum 8 skill ups to really, or I guess honestly, just 7 because you don't need to increase the buff skill potential. But you really want to get this ability max, which is the 100% chance of follow-up attack. Because every single time that she lands a crit, she has a 100% chance when fully maxed to additionally cast that A1 ability, that Arrow Spark, on the main target. Now, what makes this valuable and very, very high damage potential
hmm
is that after each casting, the chance of it triggering reduces by 60% chance of the 60% of the current chance. So when it starts at 100%, it reduces by 60. So then the next, uh, whether that be proc a chance, would bump down to 40. And then it would be 60% of minus off that 40. And so you really get to this very, very small number to really be able to get this multiple attacks lined up. But it has the potential in a perfect scenario with perfect RNG that you could do infinite damage with this passive ability, even though the chances are astronomically small.
All right, so astronomically small, well, I get that. Now, let me put this trailer on the background as I talk to you about what part of the game would you see this Animus shining in? And then I want to talk about what you plan on doing with your account and what you've recommended to me.
So I think that she has a lot of potential in a bunch of different places in the game, right? She has that AoE ability on her A3, as well as the A1, and that ability to follow up can really mean that she can do a lot of really good AoE damage. I have seen her used in places like Doki Doki. I don't think that she's going to be able to do a lot of damage there, but I think she has the possibility to do a lot of damage.
Hmm.
I also think that she can be really, really good at places like Termaton. A lot of follow-up attacks. She can do a lot of burst damage to get through Termaton. So I think that's a really great spot to put her.
All right. And I mentioned right now what we have on in the background is kind of demonstrating what some of these skills look like. I think you did a good job breaking down why she's exciting and also what could be replacements for her as well if you're not someone that decides to unlock her. But what I want to share with everyone what you kind of recommended to me and what you plan on doing on your account as well. What do we plan on doing with her? I mean, if we take a look, let me dive back into the game really quickly. If we take a look at the number of pulls that I have, this is a limited banner. It's got 11 days left on it. And the guaranteed limited SSR Animus, you get 80 summons. So if you hit that pity, you have to do 80 different pulls. As you can see right here, this is taking those Apex prototypes. It doesn't utilize the prototypes that are a lot easier to attain, which are the Anima prototypes. So we did some math, and wasn't it like 21,000 gems or something like that to get enough prototypes to do these pulls? Was that correct?
Yeah. So to do a 10 pull of the Apex prototypes,
Yeah.
it requires 3,000 gems or your Hydro Crystals, 3,000 of your Hydro Crystals. And so
3,000.
yeah, to do just a 10 pull. And so then, it's actually 24,000, right?
24,000. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not even 20. Wow, 24,000. That's so many. I mean, that's 10K more than you have. And you have you have the monthly pass as well that gives you an extra 100 Hydro Crystals a day.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just, there are a lot of costs up front to get her. And honestly, I think that she's a great animus. I think if you pull her on your account, you should be happy. She's a great damage dealer with a high potential again for that burst damage. She has
Hmm.
a good AoE. She does a lot of damage to a lot. Like she's a great all-around damage dealer, I think, but she's not the best. I think that's the thing, is that she's kind of, I would say, something like she has a potential to do a lot of damage, but it requires so much RNG
Yeah.
that you're better off just going onto the standard banner. And if you pull a Yeli, that's great. And if you pull a Messiah, that's also even almost honestly even better. Like, I think the Messiah outperforms her because of the fact that he ignores the defense. That the abilities that he is overall a better damage dealer than Yeli is. So I think it would be more worthwhile that to go just onto the regular extra affinity summon banner and pull there with a chance to get Messiah, a chance to get a Lily or a Heinrich or a Shadow Sonya, all of these champions. And if you pull a Yeli, that's awesome. And if not, that's okay, right?
Yeah.
But she is not worth it, I don't think, for at least for low spend and free to play, right? When you have like your whales and your krakens, they're gonna go get her because they're gonna spend the money. But if you're not looking to spend a lot of money, I think it'll be better to save your summons for a better light dark unit to come along because there will be one, right? And we're talking about this as well, is that they're bringing out so many new animes so fast. I mean, we're only what a month maybe into the game, not even, and they've already released three new animes
Yeah.
to the game in less than a month. And I know we're still in launch, so we're still in the very early days of being less than a month old, but it still is a very fast amount of time to bring out so much. And then to have a good damage dealer that's not amazing anywhere, but is good all around, is not worth going for specifically, but is great if you pull.
Yeah, so I think, I mean, you kind of gave away what we're doing. We're not going to be pulling right here on the limited banner, but we are going to do our pulls eventually over on the regular extra affinity summon. And if we get her, that'll be awesome. We'll be excited about it. But we're not going to go for this 80 pull pity to try and grab her right there. Now, a lot of players who are, as you mentioned, are the whales or krakens that want to make sure they have every single animus unlocked on the account, this is where you're going to be diving into her. For those of you that are low spenders or even free to play, it's probably smarter for you to wait to get into the extra affinity and to do all your pulls over there. Hermes, thanks, man, for the insight. I really do appreciate it. Any last things before we bounce?
Honestly, I don't think so. I think this is he's pretty self-explanatory. I've been loving playing the game. I think she's a super interesting Animus, and again, a great one if you pull her,
Hmm.
but don't go after her because I think you will be disappointed because there are better options you can get in the RGB and other light dark units.
Makes a lot of sense, man. I appreciate the insight. Again, thanks to Etheria Restart for sponsoring the video. And if you guys haven't downloaded the game yet, your QR code right here or my link in the description gets you the game and 10 additional free pulls. We'll see you guys back here in our next video.